Odera, who has been covering Nicholas Biwott for a very long time. But for now, let's just go through some of the, achievements that have been made by the late Nicholas Biwott. This is a man who was served in various cabinet portfolios. As I've already told you, during President Moi's regime, he has served in a total of 8 various ministerial positions. There you go. There we have his full name. That is Kipyetor Nicholas Kiprono Arap Biwott. Into bracket, that is his nickname. He was known as a total man. Lilian is going to tell us more about that title shortly. And he was born in Chebior village, that is in KU district, and it was in the then Rift Valley province. And he was born in the year 1940. Until his death, he was about 77 years old. And let's go to our next page now, and we'll have some more details. And from 1951 to 1954, Biwott attended Tambach Intermediate School. And in 1955 to 1958, he attended Kapsabet High School. And it's in 1964 that he graduated with a Bachelor of Commerce. That is as far as his education is concerned. And still on that, in 1968, he attained a Master's in Economics from the University of Melbourne. That is in Australia. And that is after, of course, after that, he came back to the country and served in both President Kenyatta's government as well as that of President Moi. Biwott, of course, he was a member of Parliament for 28 years, and he joined Parliament in 1979. He lost his seat in the year 2007 to Jackson Kiptanui Arap Kamai of the then ODM party. That is during the wave of the ODM party in the year 2007. And that is as far as his political career is concerned. And let me just get back to Lilian once again. Lilian, and you've already told me that he had that tag, the total man. What else do you remember from that tag?
Honorable Biwott was a man full of wit, as much as he was a revered personality. This term, I think, was coined sometime around about 1995. The story goes that there was a summit. There was a government delegation that had gone to New Zealand, to Auckland, to attend the Commonwealth Heads of State Summit.
Yes.
And of course, Honorable Biwott, of course, alongside others like Gigi Karaoke, also the late, were among those that were in Auckland.
Yeah.
And the story goes, of course, we still do not know until today that the Honorable Biwott had allegedly made sexual advances at one of the ladies who attended, one of the lady attendants at the hotel. And so the New Zealand authorities bundled them out, and they had to come back home. And so this question came to Parliament. And Honorable Biwott was confronted on the floor of the House.
Yes.
And asked, so in his own defense, he said, you have to be a total man.
So he was put to task to explain whatever happened there?
He was put to task to explain what
was his
really
response?
happened. And so one of the most outstanding things that he said in response was, a man has to be a total man.
And that is where he got
to
the
be
tag
counted.
from.
And therefore,
That's
that
very
is how the
interesting.
tag actually stuck. And from then on, he was called the total man, who was actually the bull of Auckland. So
That's
that
a
is
very
how that
interesting
tag
story.
came about. So you realize he was a guy who was full of wit, in as much as he was shrewd in a sense. And also I got that sense sometime when I was with him, a government delegation that was attending the World Tourism Market in Hanover in Germany. And the Honorable Biwott, who was then the Minister for Trade, Tourism and Industry, was leading
Those are 3 key ministries in one.
3 key
That tells us how important he was during Moi's government.
Exactly. He was leading a government delegation. And so he was this guy that not many people really even came close to. You feared, even when we were, covering that government delegation at that meeting, we feared actually approaching him. You approached with a lot of caution. So this particular incident, the government delegation had organized a press conference, of course, to sell the investment agenda and the tourism agenda to the outside world. And the traditional African way, the delegation got to the hall late, almost 45 minutes late.
Yes.
And so here we are, a battery of Kenyan journalists running after this man. And when we get to that hall, there was not a single foreign journalist there. They had all gone. The strict nature of foreign press, people are sticklers for time.
Yes.
And so the Kenyan delegation was late. We only met one person along the corridor who told us, sorry, you are late. And so the journalists left. So we are running around, the Kenyan media thinking, oh my, this is the total man. And how can they humiliate the total man? And he took it with a lot of, ease and reorganized, and as much as everybody else around him, including the other ministers, Kina, who was this then? There was Okemo,
Yes.
and I remember
Bonaya Godan at some point.
Well, then, of course, everybody else was very uncomfortable around the whole subject, that a whole a scheduled press conference aimed at selling the Kenyan agenda.
And the foreign media were nowhere to be seen.
Lost, but the foreign media was nowhere to be seen. But he took it very kindly. So then he was a guy, as much as people looked at him with a lot of awe. He was, I think, a person, and deeply, I think, very caring also, and very sensitive about other people.
Lillian, I'm trying to understand why fear is associated with it. Let Biwott. Was it because of his stern nature, no-nonsense kind of a minister?
Very likely so. And remember also, because of the way his mysterious nature. And that's why he's also been, directly implicated in a lot of chilling political incidences of history in this country. Like I said, specifically the Ouko murder inquiry.
Yes.
And Honorable Biwott always stood his ground and said no. And anybody who dared, he also cared about his personality. He made a lot of money, by suing people, including the media, for what
defaming him or
defaming him, character assassination. So as much as he was always implicated in this dubious, fishy activities and political events in Kenya's history, he remained above board, stayed very firm, and instead challenged anybody to face him. And nobody dared did.
And Dylan, speaking about money, as much as he was very successful in government, he was also very shrewd, kind of a businessman. Can you perhaps tell us some of the companies that he was involved in? And
exactly. Honorable Biwott, like I said, is a man of deep pockets.
Yeah.
Apart from his political life, he was known for his the way he handled his business. And they say, of course, he has a large family stretching from Kenya to Israel. In fact, they say the second wife is Israeli. So that was the person who somehow managed his business interests, which were mainly, most of the people, including CEOs in his businesses, are foreigners. And so and possibly that kind of managerial skill is what he also infused in government, and especially in the ministerial positions that he held.
Speaking about business, his family business, he never used to make it public.
He remained,
guide his family
exactly,
members.
he remained very aloof about even direct implications with his businesses.
Yeah.
And so that is the one thing that Kenyans will remember Nicholas Biwott for.
Yeah. And Lillian, I'm seeing some very interesting record here. He has served as a member of parliament for a record 29 years. Or is it 28 years?
28, actually.
From 1979 to 2007. That's a very long time.
That's a very long time. And that is why to Keio, he was the father. If you talk to Keio residents, they'll tell you, they'll credit a lot of the achievements to Nicholas Biwott. During the Moi time, Keio in the Rift Valley, in the larger in the larger Upper Rift.
Yes.
Keio is one of the places that I would say the GDP of that specific area, the constituency alone, is probably one of the highest compared to the rest of the Rift Valley. And directly, they will single-handedly credit Honorable Nicholas Biwott, especially for putting together initiatives, the infrastructure. Of course, they have a proper road infrastructure. Agriculture is doing really well. They're good farmers of wheat and maize as well. And directly, the people in that constituency credit Honorable Nicholas Biwott for the economic successes of that region.
So as much as he has his dark side, he has also his bright side.
Exactly.
Lillian, stay with me here. Of course, Lillian is going to give me some more insight into the life and times of the late Nicholas Biwott. Our reporter Patrick Amimu is on standby at the Lee Funeral Home. Elvis Kosgei is at the late Biwott's home in Eldoret. Of course, all this to make sure that you don't miss anything as far as this shocking story is concerned. That is about the death of Nicholas Biwott, a man who had served in both President Kenyatta and Moi's government as well as Kibaki's government. He had served in a record 8 ministerial positions. For now, let's cross over to the Lee Funeral Home, where the body of the late Biwott was moved